Hey everyone, this is Captain Blackbeard, and this is just a quick show of how to install the RAM mount onto my motorcycle. I'm intending to mount my GPS TomTom device onto the center pin, and in previous videos I showed you what came in the RAM mount packet, and I also did an unboxing video on the TomTom GPS device, so go and have a look at those if you're interested in installing those as well. This is a step-by-step video to show you the steps I've taken to install. Now, as you can see, it's not installed yet, but it will be, and I've started preparing the bits that I would need to do this installation, that I think I would need at least. So I've got my various parts for the RAM mount, including a measuring tape, something to cut this center pin rubber with, and just a putty knife, sort of paint stripper's knife, and this is mainly just to remove the center pin thing and perhaps make marks on this ready for cutting. Now I've got the instruction manual here, or leaflet here as well, to help me with making sure I follow the correct instructions. So as you can see, I've got the center pin rubber. In my case, I've got 4 screws that will fit the TomTom's attachment to the center pin mount that came with the TomTom. I've also got these rubber or plastic washers, Allen key, the center pin screw, and a bunch of washers. This is what I'm going to be connecting through to the TomTom device. Now, just to show you the TomTom connection. So this is the RAM ball that I'll be connecting onto the end of this, and this is the TomTom's connector that will obviously supply power whilst you're riding. I'm not intending to show you the wiring of this in this video, just the mounting of all of these things so that the TomTom can sit snugly and securely on the motorcycle. Okay. So first things first, I have already loosened this, but the first thing is to just pop this out of the center pin. Be careful not to scratch your paintwork, and then it comes out like this. It's just a little pin like this. Okay. The next thing, as I understand from the instructions, is to push this thing as far down as you can. Now mine goes all the way in, and it does now feel snug at the very top, so therefore the way I understand it is I will cut basically at this very top point. Then you'll measure an inch down and cut again. So in my case, I'll just cut straight at the top here and then an inch down, and then come push that back. Okay, I'll go away and do that. Okay, I've now cut the top end off of this. Now it will be going in this way, but just to show you, it does actually now, it doesn't quite fit the top, which is what I want really. So it's gonna fit in snug once I drop it in there. So what I now need to do is just measure an inch down and cut off the very bottom. Okay, so now I've cut the the pin to 1 inch size. So what the instructions now tell me to do is measure these to the bottom end to get a nice and snug fit. Now what you want to do is make sure that it sits nice and flush when you've got it. So this middle piece seems to be the one I want, so I'll take the middle piece there. Once you've done that, you need to assemble the whole thing to resemble that. So this middle piece will go at the bottom of this, and then on the top I'll use one of these washers. I'll push the pin straight through from the top downwards, and I'll use this like little nut to tighten the thing at the bottom. So I'm going to quickly do that, and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, so this is what I've done. I've just assembled it very loosely, but as you can see, it's already quite snug. What you want to do is make sure that these little teeth that you can see on the bottom here, that is facing upwards and will now start biting into this rubber piece. You've got the washer, one of the metal washers at the top here, nice and flush with the top end, and then you've got the ball mount at the very top and the pin going from the top down into tightening into that nut at the bottom. So now that it's well, sort of loosely fit, what you now need to do is put it into the hole and then gradually start tightening up here so that it will start biting in firstly into the rubber, and then as it bites and pushes these two ends together, it will expand the rubber and then start to tighten into the center pin hole on the motorcycle. So we'll go and do that now. What you need to for this purpose is this Allen key. Okay. As you can see here, I've got it now inserted properly. Now I'm going to start tightening this. Check to make sure it's still snug and it goes. If it doesn't tighten, if it stays loose for a while, then there's a chance that the nut at the bottom didn't grip properly or it's not expanding properly. So you just need to continue doing so, tightening this until you think it's good. Okay. I think that is perfect for what I want. Okay, so now that I've got that on there, my next step is now going to be to try and see, why is this blurry? Okay, there you go. So my next step would be to try and get this TomTom unit onto this bit here. So just a moment while I grab the TomTom. So what we want to try and do now is mount this section onto the back of that, so you can see the holes actually line up perfectly. So all I need to do really is use these little 4 screws and washers, tighten it into there, making sure I don't catch that wire, and then that's the first step done. So I'll do that now. Okay, so there you have it, nice and tight. So the next step would be for me to mount this thing onto the ball of each ball, so this ball here as well as the ball on the TomTom mount. Now it is quite loose, and it's loose for a reason. I'm just going to try and mount my camera on here so you can see. So you need to get them both in there, and to do so they need to be loose. So just loosen it ever so slightly, and then not tightening it too much, you'll see it starts to grip. So now I can still move it about, and this is perfect because now I can angle the TomTom however I wish in order to then get the perfect viewing angle for me. I'm just gonna assume that this angle would be good there. I think maybe, yeah, for the moment I'm just gonna go there. I'll adjust if I find that doesn't work for me. And I'm going to now just tighten this little wing nut on the side. Okay, it's now perfect and nice and snug. Now the TomTom will sit onto this, it will clip onto this, and it should now be nice and snug and secure. This end of the wire will go onto the wiring once I've done them. For the moment I'll just get some some cable ties and just tuck it away neatly until I've done the wiring. Okay, so follow-up video really. What I did was I pulled on this to make sure it's really snug and secure, and then found that it wasn't actually. It just came out straight from when I'd last tightened it. So what I've done is I've actually, you won't necessarily be able to see it properly, but I've took out the whole system and put a slightly smaller metal washer in here so it can actually sink into the hole a bit further. Found that the other one was a bit too wide and it caught at the top, so it wasn't quite doing what I needed it to do. So I put the smaller washer in, sunk it a bit further into the hole and tightened it up real good, and now it is actually the way I wanted and needed. I can actually tug the whole bike with this and it's not coming out, so that's what you want. So I'll quickly mount the TomTom. I've decided to bring it out in any case and show you how it looks with the TomTom put on this bike. Okay, so there you are with a rider's view of the SatNav navigation. It obscures the keys and stuff at the back, but that's not a problem as long as you can see the dial, which you can from an upright seated position, and the TomTom itself is in a good position for you to operate. I think that is perfect. This particular angle is good for me, and from the side you can see that's basically how I assembled this system to get that angle. Some people might want it from the side. I like it nice and center, and I think this will work for me.